USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
News team, assemble!
It's back and bigger than ever. It's the unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carrie, Josh, Eddie, and
George. All right, welcome back. It is another edition of the unofficial 40 podcast right here from historic Campus Corner Studios. Where we welcome in the whole crew. Well, Bob Persbillo not with us as usual, but we do have a brand new stick report that's going to be up tonight. Just hashing over the end of the season. I mean, it's. I said this, Eddie. I think we both kind of thought this especially after the OU baseball game, and then obviously, Oklahoma loses to Niger Kennedy and Texas Tech, and it's just like, how is this over? Like, we've been talking about this stuff and covering it, and like it's just over in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it all goes really quickly, right? I think that that was one of the things that you step out of the softball realm even and can say, and the way that thing ended on Monday night, and kind of with both of them. I know that Bob and I talked about this on the Stickball report, but with both seasons coming to an end within a matter of, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
kind of crazy, but. Good season, not a great season for the baseball team. You can't make a bunch of errors against a really good baseball team like North Carolina, and I think that we had talked about it on multiple U40s going into the postseason or to the back end of the regular season that was going to likely cost them at some point, and it certainly did in Chapel Hill over the weekend. But Sunday was awesome. I mean, to come back and after you get beat, to go to the losers bracket on Saturday afternoon, Kyson gets beat. And to come back and win 17-1 and then force an if game with a 9-4 win on Sunday evening against North Carolina, that was obviously a positive. And Monday wasn't so much of a positive. So
I think we're both going to be extremely pissed off if North Carolina doesn't make it to the World Series and just play extremely well there.
I mean, I think that like they should be able to beat Arizona this weekend in Chapel Hill in the Super Regional, but the Gavin Gallagher guy was unbelievable. 13 for 18 in the regional, had 10 RBIs, 3 home runs. I think the hits and the RBIs were the most by a North Carolina player in a regional since 1999. So they've had some really good teams.
That's
made it to Omaha multiple times since then, but incredible.
That's one of those things where everybody that played in that game, when they go on to the minor leagues and playing with other people and they tell their war stories, they're going to be like, I got to tell you about this Gallagher guy from North Carolina. When
he's hitting like 225 in single A for like 5 years too. He's a really good player. And they obviously have a really good pitching staff. The Jake Knapp kid that Oklahoma did not see over the weekend. He was the ACC pitcher of the year. I would expect him to go on Friday for them. Right? I think it might be Saturday. I can't remember what day they're starting. But the big picture wise, the first weekend of the NCAA tournament on the men's side or the baseball side of things, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think my takeaways from the season, and Eddie, you obviously follow it closer than anybody, but I just think that this was a team that, when Taki went down, they struggled it. I mean, Easton Carmichael was really the one guy that you could count on to produce. Yeah. And watching what happened in that lineup get hot was a lot of fun, but ultimately, as you said, the defense wasn't good enough, but just the hitting, 1 through 9, it wasn't consistent. And as good as your starting pitching was, you had a lot of games where Kyson would get you to the 6th, and then it was a little bit of especially against really good competition, it was just like, okay, what's going to happen now? Like, because of the defense, because of the bats, like,
every ball put in play was basically an
up
adventure.
For grabs, yeah.
It was an adventure to see, are they going to be able to make the routine play? And, Kyson had an excellent season. He goes 10-4, 2.65 ERA. I think his whip was like 1.01, which is incredible.
He did nothing but help his
baseball.
stock.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a top 15 draft pick, I think, in the July draft. So he was awesome. But, yeah, like
And
you're
Malachi
right.
started coming on later in the year.
Yeah, he pitched great on Friday night against Nebraska in the opener. But you're right.
Crossland was, solid throughout. But
yeah, and he got better each time that I thought he went out there. And a lot of like Crossland's final stats and Malachi's final stats, like the numbers don't tell you how good those guys were. The numbers don't tell you how good Malachi Witherspoon was when, I think at the time when he pitched on Friday, they committed an error in third, fourth inning. It doesn't matter. Toby Rowland on the radio broadcast said that they had, to that point, had committed 56 errors. 22 of the errors came when Malachi Witherspoon was on the mound, and that usually came on Sundays.
Yeah.
So like his ERA doesn't tell you how well he pitched at times this year, and I think that like you said though, offensively, I think they're at a little bit of a crossroads right now. This is just my opinion, just in terms of like what they want this team to look like. Reggie, I think, wants to get a little bit more speed on the base pass. Obviously, the chaos stuff that got him to Omaha in 2022. I don't know if you can do that and have a whole lot of success in the SEC when you look at the, just the physicality of the guys that Oklahoma played this year. There's big difference.
Yeah.
And they need to get a little bit more power in the lineup, get guys that can hit consistently. And, I think that like when you look at even the Texas series, they committed 3 errors in one of those games, but they only had 2 hits. And you got to be able to score runs, and especially when you get it into a regional, and on the back end of a regional, you're in an if game, look at all the if games that were played on Monday. Those teams scored runs that one game.
Yeah, and look, there's some good and there's some bad and everything. I mean, like watching Dylan Tate there at the end, you're just like, my
he's
God.
awesome. But the bad news is because he got out there and everybody can see it now, he's probably going to get drafted. I mean, who doesn't want a guy that can hit upper 90s consistently with really good stuff? So it's going to be interesting. It's like I told Bob on the Stickball report. I think the next month and a half is going to be super fascinating to see what happens with a lot of these guys that have that opportunity to get drafted, or you come back to school, or even a guy like an Eli Willits that is expected to go in the first round, and he's going to have a decision to make. Obviously, if he gets drafted in the first round, I think everybody down there would tell him that he probably needs to sign. But stranger things have happened. We'll see.
But some promising stuff from Drew Dickerson as well. There at the end,
and that's like the third part of all of it is retention of players. We talked so much about that with Mason Thomas and Jaden Jackson and those guys on the football side. I think getting a Drew Dickerson back, just retaining him, is going to be tough. And I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if I could sit here and say that 100% he's going to be on the roster next year, because I don't know if he's going to explore the portal.
How big is the market out there for baseball portal players?
I don't know. Like, I think it's a good question. Like, I think like there's
depends
guys
on the program.
Yeah, well, it depends on the program and it depends on the player. Obviously, I mean, the Paul Skeens. I don't know if there's going to be a Paul Skeens out there, but I think he had reportedly gotten like $2 million from LSU when he came out of Air Force. But at the same time, I think that trying to think of a good example. There's a kid from Tulane. He's a first baseman that I think he hit like 360 this year. That's in the portal. I would imagine it's going to be a who's who list. There
was some guy in the portal. I think I saw Kendall Rogers last night. Like, he has huge stats, but he also pitches.
Yeah. The kid from UNLV.
Was he UNLV?
Possibly.
I thought he said. Yeah, I think it said Renegades on his uniform.
This kid, the LJ Mercurius kid.
Yeah, that was him.
I think his brother is like one of the best arms in the 2025 class, Alex Mercurius. I believe he is committed to Oklahoma. We'll see. Yeah, he was a really good pitcher though for UNLV this past season.
So when you say crossroads, do you think that that Willits could just decide to take off if
I don't know. No.
What he wanted, which was a small lineup that can run really well.
I think they're going to just have to be able to blend it. And I don't know how you'd go about that, because I don't think that like Jackson's not going anywhere. He's expected to come back for his junior season. So I don't know.
After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
I really don't know. I need to kind of check more into kind of what they're thinking this roster is going to look like going into next season. But you do have a solid core of guys that should be returning, like a Dayton Taki should be back. Jackson Willits, obviously, Kyle Branch.
Could you see Malachi coming back just because maybe he has the trust in Skip and knows that maybe if he starts to approach what Kyson did, that he could
be a
end up
first
being
rounder.
an early draft pick?
I don't know, because I don't know where he's expected to go. Like, I think that's kind of a crapshoot in terms of where the scouts see him.
Scouts think that he's
is he
worth
going to be
is he third, fourth round pick.
Yeah, like is he going to be a top 6 pick, or is he going to be a guy that ends up getting drafted in between, like the 10 and 15 round? I don't know, because I think that'd be obviously a big jump in money if you came back. But I think that kind of gets into the conversation that what's OU's NIL situation like? Could they make an offer to a Malachi Witherspoon to get him to come back? I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't think that it's probably in a good enough spot, just guessing, that they would be able to get somebody like a Malachi to come back. I really don't know, though.
All right. Well, obviously,
softball was awesome, though.
Softball. Look, I thought that was an incredible way for them to end it. Even though you certainly are disappointed that they didn't finish it off and go all the way after getting to the semifinals. But for as young as they are, for as many transfers as they have, for them to go out there and tie it up against the seemingly impossible pitcher in Nigel Kennedy
on the final strike, with the final out, like 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's one of the most dramatic moments that I can remember from maybe any OU athletics team, just in terms of the flip going from 2-0 to 2-2. And then, I think I tweeted it out at the time, and I think I sent it to the group, but those 3 outs in the bottom of the 7th were going to be the toughest 3 outs of the year to be able to get through the emotion of what that was. And, Pickering misplays the fly ball, and all of a sudden the wheels got in motion.
I'll say this. I really like Tech's team. I mean, They're built to just manufacture a few runs because they know they have a great pitcher. They don't have superstars, but they know what their goal is to go out there, get on base, move some people around, and just get a couple of runs.
Yeah.
Get 2 runs a game, and you're golden.
Well, I mean, when OU's down 2-0 in the second inning, it was like, this might be over.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to.
I
think the only way that you're going to be able to score off of Kennedy, in a sense, is basically how OU did it with a bloop and a blast.
Yeah.
You're not going to put 7 hits together against her.
No.
She's incredible.
And, I mean, even Ella Parker didn't do anything against her. I mean, she got some hits, but, it's just, she's so good. I mean, to go from 74 to 55 in your change, it's
crazy.
I can't even imagine what that's like, trying to judge that up at the plate.
I mean, I think that we all agree that Gabby Garcia is going to be a fantastic hitter. She's already a really good hitter. She brought her down to a knee.
Yeah.
On a strikeout, I think in the 3rd or 4th inning is she's playing a different ball game right now. It's going to be interesting to see who ends up winning.
Who do you guys like?
Texas Tech.
Texas or Texas?
I'm not going to go against Kennedy, but I think the smart pick would be, I think Texas would be the quote unquote favorite.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, they're the most. I mean,
are they the favorite going into tonight?
I would assume. They came into the season number 1 in the country because they're the most talented team. I mean, they, in terms of top to bottom talent and experience, Texas should win the national title. But I'm with you, Eddie. The way Kennedy's playing right now, I'm not picking against her. And she gets the day off. If they had to go to a second game, maybe against Oklahoma, then you worry about her, and even still,
the tough thing would be if they have to play 3, right? If Kennedy has to pitch 3 games in a row consecutively in days.
And she's got 1 more year left, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She's not making that money in anywhere else but in college, which is crazy.
It truly might be one of the greatest NIL.
She should hit the portal again.
That'd be amazing.
Up her number.
That would
after she won a national title, hit it again. See who.
That would be amazing.
Is
she's going to end up
Carlin
owning
Pickens,
half of double
was she
eagle?
A senior?
I think she was.
Pickens,
okay. Yeah, I think she was.
Maybe Tennessee's got some money. Maybe they'll put something together.
Oklahoma should.
I think that was kind of, I'd have to ask Bob, but I also think the Oklahoma thing was Patty was just we don't need someone making $1 million in our locker room.
Yeah.
We don't need to we were pretty good. we don't need to upset the apple cart by, and if she knew how her pitching was going to work out, maybe she'd rethink that this year.
They definitely need to, this portal cycle for OU softball, have to go get a couple pitchers, it feels like.
I don't know. I mean, talking to Bob, and I don't want to just completely throw everything that we talked about on the Stickball report because we want you to watch it, but they're bringing in 4 of the top freshman pitchers, but
I still think you need to get a veteran.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Pitcher.
Can you live through the non-conference and the conference of, and I'm kind of talking out of my ass because I don't really know what their rotation will look like next year, but what Bob has relayed to me is that they're bringing in some pretty big-time studs, like the number 1 pitcher in the country. And does Sophia Bordy come back from New Jersey? I really don't know. I think those are questions for him.
I also just want to say, too, before I move on from softball, Sam Landry deserves her flowers. I mean, I know she won't, walk away with a national title ring like all the great pitchers before her at OU, but she was just fantastic this whole postseason for them. I mean, she really carried them in a lot of ways because they just did not have a whole lot of pitching after her. Yeah. And she kept him, she kept him in that Tennessee game for that to happen late. And then even this Texas Tech game, she kept him in it. Despite throwing, a million pitches all week and the last 2 weeks, she was remarkable for OU. And she was good enough. I think she was truly good enough to win a national title. It just didn't work out that way. They ran into just arguably, I think if Texas Tech wins the national title, Kennedy is, in my opinion, maybe the greatest of all time.
She's amazing. And, Josh, I think that you said it on, I think it was Saturday after the OU Texas game when OU got beat in the second, I guess the semifinal of their half of the bracket, whatever you want to call it. That was the first time that Oklahoma on that stage kind of looked really, really young. And you have runners on second and third with 1 out in a 2-1 game. You got to find a way to either tie it up or take the lead.
Yeah, because, guys, I mean, it's not like we didn't see the previous iteration of Oklahoma face Kennedy and have bad moments, where she overwhelmed them when she was at Stanford a couple years ago, the Jada and that whole lineup. But there were times in this when you were like, they're swinging at bad pitches. You don't see Oklahoma ever do that. Right. You saw mental errors that you never see. And this isn't me. They had an unbelievable season. To do what they did in the wake of the group they were replacing is incredible. It's just incredible. I think so. I don't want it to come off at all down on them, but it was the moment you were like, oh yeah, these are still really young players growing up.
That was kind of the big takeaway, I think, from just diving through Patty Gasso's press conference, and she had said it over the last month, really, multiple ways. Basically, every time she had talked to the media, just in that to get to where they are, 52-9, you make another national semifinal. You see the run for 4 or 5 consecutive national titles comes to an end. It's kind of amazing that they were able to do this, getting 14 newcomers into the program, the additions from the freshmen, and then obviously getting the contributions from some of the transfer players, whether it be Agbayani throughout the postseason or Abigail Dayton in the final home run for Oklahoma. They were incredible, and they're not going anywhere. And I think that everybody in the state of Oklahoma has taken exception to the dynasty is over. The championship run's over for sure, but I don't think that this team's going anywhere anytime soon.
Here's the thing: you mentioned freshman pitchers, and coming in and having some. It doesn't happen very often where they are great. Right off, there was Jordy Ball, there was Nigeri Kennedy in 23, and really that was the last national freshman of the year that was a pitcher. Tiare Jennings was a national freshman 21. Jocelyn Alo was 2018. But the next pitcher besides Jordy Ball happened way back in 2017, Rachel Garcia from UCLA. And Paige Parker in 2015.
She was a badass.
Yeah.
That just kind of highlights even more just how incredible it was that somebody like a Gabby Garcia came in and led the team in home runs. I mean, they're going to be so good over the next couple of years. Maybe they can get back to that level of dominance. But what an incredible run.
I'd bet on them next year. I don't know who their pitcher's going to be. I don't know who their primary pitcher will be. I would still bet on them next year. Just because we know Patty, we know there's a ton returning. And guys, what's scary is as good as we saw Ella Parker down the stretch, I still don't think we've seen anywhere near her best.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
She can still be so much better.
She could be more dominant. I don't know how it's possible, but the possibility exists for her to be even better than Jocelyn Alo.
Yeah. Which is just
or at least
insane,
equal to
like
that.
It should be an insane take, but it's not.
She just has such a non-softball swing. Like, she's swinging like a baseball player. It's crazy. All right, so, no, I think everybody should feel good about that. You don't have to be happy that they didn't win. I'm not saying that. But you should feel good about the way they went out and just fought and battled. Because, like Josh said, I do think there's a good chance they end up as national champions next year if they just get the pitching figured out, because the offense is going to be even more amazing. And it wasn't, just fantastic all the time. I mean, they got hotter as the postseason approached. So, especially that 6 home runs against Arkansas in the SEC championship or the SEC tournament. All right, we've had football all over the place, and we probably want to get to that. But first, I want to tell you guys that if you're out there and you feel like you're losing focus, you could have better energy, you just want to stay ahead of the game, you should check out NAD Plus injections from Cody Drug, CodyDrugRx.com. It's the next big thing. Lots of celebrities are doing it, talking about it all over social media. And all you have to do, you don't have to go to LA. It's quick and easy. Just head to CodyDrugRx.com. We have so many people coming to the office right now. Book a short telehealth visit,
interview.
And your NAD Plus injection or nasal spray ships out the very next business day. Cody Drug, custom compounds everything in their state-of-the-art sterile lab, including specialized medications for men's health, weight loss, anti-aging, and more. Here's what you do. Just go to Cody Drug RX on Instagram. Our guy Will is going to be there. He's got tons of videos about things that you can do to feel better, to have more energy, get better sleep. I probably need that for ingesting food. Just go to CodyDrugRx.com. It'll help you feel better, faster, without the stadium steps. Thanks to a
guy coming by giving me his resume.
Oh, we got a resume.
Student.
Huh?
My God, we've got...
Let's not read this live on the air.
No, I won't.
I told him to come back by a little bit later. Very cool guy.
We got date of birth, Social Security. Like, we got all that we can put out there for everybody.
Bank account. Got a bank account number.
He might have been the guy that actually emailed me like a week ago, Carrie, and I forwarded it to you.
Okay.
It wasn't our boy?
Who?
Eddie knows this person.
Our boy. The content creator of Norman.
Oh, no.
That's the only resume that we wouldn't need to see, because his resume is
hired
out
on
there
the spot
all the time. Yeah.
Do you know that person?
No.
Cool dude.
Is this a real name?
It says worked at your radio station.
Oh.
Firm handshake.
I don't know anybody up there.
Eddie doesn't even talk to the people. He
go
walks
in
through.
early and then you leave early. I mean, so
Josh,
yeah.
I think you might be kidding. You're not kidding. I don't really talk to a whole lot of people out there. And it's not because I don't want to. It's because I don't want to walk up to the office,
Yeah. Carrie and I were talking about this the other day, and I know we need to get to football. There's a misconception about Eddie, and George, you probably get this all the time too. I think people think Eddie is like constantly talking and like loud and in your face, and that's just never Eddie can be in a room and I will not notice him at times. Like he is absolutely capable of just hanging out and being mellow.
Eddie?
Very mellow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Eddie and I could sit in the office for 3 straight hours and not say a word to each other.
Yes.
That happens almost every day.
That's during a game that we play called Helen Keller, though, where we just sit there. And speaking of Helen Keller, she couldn't see, but you could. Summer is here, Sooner Nation. That means the perfect time to dial in your vision before August 30th kickoff. Illinois State coming to town, home of Ed Radosevich, who celebrated a birthday this week. From now through the end of July, Enjoy Vision is throwing you $600 off LASIK during the summer of LASIK. How big is 600? Even bigger than Baker's 500. That would be really weird if I just ended it there. Even bigger than Baker. Even bigger than Baker's 598 yards against Oklahoma State. Summer won't last forever. So what you got to do is you got to sign up now. Get your $600 from LASIK savings from Enjoy Vision. Schedule your free consultation today at summeroflasik.com. Enjoy Vision. This is where Suter Scoop LASIKs.
I think it's going to be a big year for Baker. I think he's going to.
That'd be awesome.
He's going to establish himself as top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
In the NFL?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be
I thought
awesome.
you were going to say top 10. I could get behind top 10. Top 5, man. There's some damn good quarterbacks.
I think he
This is
he not
bordering-
in the top 10?
I was gonna
would
say-
he
He's
not
on the
be there
verge.
now?
He's on the verge,
but-
I would
but
say.
This
of the
is
top
summer pod right here.
I don't-
top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
I think he's like between 10 and 15, somewhere in there.
10. I think if Lamar Jackson doesn't go to a Super Bowl this year, people are going to kind of give up on him as a top quarterback.
But he's still,
Still
top
won 2
10.
MVPs though, right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, top 5. You're talking Pat Mahomes.
I don't care
Joe
where
Burrow.
Baker ranks. I just want the Bucs to have a really good season.
Joe
and play in
Burrow
the NFC
doesn't have a
Championship.
great year. He's going to fall pretty far.
Oh, bullshit, Kerry. Are you serious? Joe Burrow
I mean,
he was unbelievable last year.
he was.
And it was not his fault the Bengals
I may be
didn't make
talking
the
out of my
playoffs.
ass.
You are talking out of your
Hey,
ass.
I said maybe. I don't need you to confirm that for me, all right?
Baker's number 1. He'll
Let
always
me
be
have
number
some
1.
dignity here. No, that's a tall task.
Top 5 would be incredible.
But I mean, would you say he had a better year last year than Jared Goff?
I think they're in the same echelon. Jared Goff is surrounded by a
2
lot.
years ago, Jared Goff was
Jared
way
Goff
ahead
was
of it.
surrounded by a better team.
When they stay healthy, yeah.
But
It is shocking how similar Baker and Joe Burrow's stats were. Like if you look
Baker's
at them,
stats were
Baker had
incredible
more picks
last year. Yeah.
that's Baker's
that's
one
really
thing
where
is he's
Joe's
thrown the
got him.
most interceptions in the league though over the last what is it, like a 3-year span or something?
Not
But
his
they
fault.
went out.
Not his fault.
They went out and got him another big receiver in the draft, and the McMillan kid from Washington.
I'm not saying
I really
Baker. I'm
like
not
him.
saying Baker can't be a great quarterback. I think he could win a Super Bowl. That's how good I think he is. I don't know if he's a top 5 quarterback in the league.
I didn't say he was
Just
right
because
now.
that group is so solid.
I didn't say he was right now. I said he could have a big year and put himself in the top 5.
I still don't think he'd put.
If
him in
he
the
has a
top
year
5.
just like last year, he won't be in the top 5.
How long does Baker have in the NFL? Like, he's only 30. Could he play 6 more years? Is that crazy?
Is this the second year of his $100 million contract he's going into? Or is it the third?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know any of that kind of stuff.
Because, I mean, if it's the
terrible
third
at
and
that
he
stuff.
has a great year, he could be making $50 a year. I think that's the more important thing. It's like, if you're top 10, top 5, are you one of the quarterbacks in the NFL that deserve $50 million a year? That someone will pay $50 million a year?
Let's see where I don't
He
like. I don't like
he's
Pro
still
Football
signed through
Focus.
26.
I don't like Pro Football Focus, but they recently came out with their top ranking all 32 starting.
He's on contract through 2026.
He's-
Is that what you said, Josh?
So
Yep.
he's in
That's
his
what I've
second
got.
year of his $100 million.
He is 13th in Pro Football Focus, which I think is around. He is.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
12
probably where
to-
he should be.
8 to 12 is where I think he is right now, somewhere in that range. 8 to 13, maybe. I don't know.
He's probably
But they have,
really
like-
7, but Todd Bowles brings him down to 13.
Like, would you take him over Jordan Love?
Baker?
Yeah.
I would.
After the season he
Jordan
had
Love's
last
one of those
year?
guys I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why everybody's so excited
What about Justin
him.
Herbert?
No, I love Herbert. He's crazy.
Jaden Daniels?
No.
Yeah, he's the hottest quarterback out there right now.
Jalen Hurts?
Yes.
I mean,
Now,
Jalen.
not in the Eagles' offense. Like
right.
if you
Jalen
put,
is a product of
Yeah.
the guys around him in the system.
He's also really good.
He is
he's
really
one of
good.
those
Like-
guys that, like, he's better than we give him credit
he made
for,
some
but he's
throws
not.
last year where I was just like, "Holy shit! I never knew he had that." in him.
This is the part where this is where it's tough, Kerry. When you say top 5,
I
you're
know.
talking about
I know.
Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
Definitely put this on the description, though, because maybe we'll get some algorithm points for it.
Absolutely.
Is Baker Mayfield the top 5 quarterback? Listen to 4 OU
And
people
again,
that connected to
all
OU
you
talk about
people
it.
on the message boards. I said if he has a great year, he has a chance to be considered a top. I didn't say he is currently a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Correct. You're right.
No, if we want the algorithm, Kerry, we need you to stand on this. We need you to get crazy with it.
Someone clip it.
Jerry Jones just needs to do the right thing.
We just turned into First Take, where they
Trade
did
Tampa.
have a debate on Jordan Love this morning on first, like that, and Caleb Williams. Like they take every quarterback in the NFL and they just give them a day, and everybody watches because the NFL
not
quarterback.
everybody.
Well, not yeah. I mean, some of us sit there, but the what would you call them? The not silent majority, but the general public. They love NFL quarterback talk. The casual sports fan. How about that? Anyway, but we got plenty of time. By the way, Thunder getting ready to go tomorrow night. Anybody secure tickets yet?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to be watching that on television, but that doesn't mean that I'm not excited about it.
Or accepting
I was wondering,
invitations?
Carrie, if you could give me a
Yeah,
raise.
I'll take it. Invitations.
I'll take a raise, and then I'll immediately spend it on Thunder tickets.
Well, we would, George, but you've been in Destin, Florida for the last month.
And getting ready to go to Maine for a while.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm getting married, going on a honeymoon.
Well, you're going to someone else's wedding, though, too.
On
while
my
you're there.
honeymoon, yes. I'm trying to.
You told us the other day this is not your honeymoon.
Just tell them.
I mean, it is
Tell
kind
them,
of.
George.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
George and Aaron are swingers. This is part of a bigger, large group of people.
Oh, God.
The NBA account used one of my tweets in their
I saw
social
that.
media today.
Congratulations.
I'm an NBA correspondent now.
That's crazy.
I woke up. That was the first thing I saw when I woke up.
I always wonder about that stuff if they look back at like my other tweets about how poor their product is usually.
They've been kind of getting dogged a little bit for just being too tight with their
NBA
social
has?
media. No, Thunder.
Oh. Well, this was the
This
NBA.
is-
No, this
this
was
is
the
the-
NBA. That's
yeah,
what
the
it is,
National
NBA
Basketball
account, yeah.
Association. People talking about
You
me
think
in
the
New York.
Thunder called them and they were like, please don't use any more of his tweets?
No, we have
It's
a
quite
a
crass.
great standing relationship with the Thunder. Nick Gallo's my boy.
Just had Nick Gallo on the other day. He's a great dude.
I'm looking into buying season tickets for next year.
Is that why you want the raise?
No, I want the raise for the finals. But
Are you're seriously considering buying some tickets?
for season
Not
tickets?
a full
no,
package.
for the final.
Oh no, not unless I luck into $1,000.
Somebody, I was
And
looking
they're too
at
expensive,
I
and
was
it's
looking
just
at
not worth it.
Game Time has like courtside seats, $16,000 a piece, and I'm sure that's somebody just
I looked 2 days ago. Those weren't even for sale at that time.
I'm sure that's somebody like if somebody wants to give
yeah.
me 16 or
If you wanna go that
32,000
bad.
for the pair,
Yeah.
I mean, you go buy a small car with that.
And they have dropped up in Loud City, but I don't want to. To me, it's not worth paying $600 to sit at the top of the arena. I would rather go watch with my buddies or something.
I'm kind of the same way. And maybe that makes me a bad fan, but I don't know. I think it would be super fun. I think if you went and you paid whatever, $600 to sit in Loud City and they won and it was a great night, you would say that was totally worth it. But I could also understand the other side of it, of just enjoying and being able to watch the game.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I would much rather pay $600 for Game 5, knowing that, it'd be Game 5, knowing that there might be a chance that they could win it while you're there.
If you bought Game 5 tickets, would you sit there and cheer? I know you get your money recouped if they don't play the Game 5, but if you had Game 5 tickets, would you almost cheer against the Thunder in a game?
I couldn't do it.
So you could have
so you can make sure you make it to
sure
your
that
game.
you use the game.
No, I'm too much of a superstitious, or I would get too.
What if they were up
nervous.
3-0?
I'd still want to sweep.
I don't think I would cheer against
To me,
them.
I'm looking more forward to going to the parade. The parade, if they win, is going to be awesome.
I don't care about the parade, I'll be honest.
Well, you won't go.
I may be in town for the parade. That is something I may come up for.
We do have to say, though, that SoonerScoop.com will be closed that day, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's only fair.
The high holy day.
Game 4, I just realized today, Game 4, Friday night in Indianapolis.
I'll be on my bachelor party.
How badass
They're
is that?
not sweeping Indianapolis.
Well, I'm just saying, like a NBA Finals game on a Friday night.
Oh, I see.
Like to go out in Oklahoma City or wherever.
I'll be in Austin.
Right?
Friday
That'd be
night.
so awesome.
Bachelor party.
Friends, yeah.
It's gonna be badass,
Dude. Game 1, I'm going to be flying back. Like I'm going to be a wreck trying to deal with that.
I had that
that's
experience.
just
Do you
not
have
gonna
any
go
tips
well.
Western
for him,
Conference
George?
I mean, just make sure that plane has Wi-Fi, and then buy the $8.
Yes, I am ordering the Wi-Fi before I get on the plane. Like I'm going to make sure, like I just get to log on.
That's what
and
I
I'm ready
did.
to go.
Josh, you're in my group of people. I buy the internet every time. You could charge me $16 and I'd still buy it.
Yep.
It's a very loser quality of me.
The thing that I will generally do is like, so last week I was flying and I had started board chat. So I just I set it up on the web page and I just like post replied like 12 different questions on board chat. And then I didn't even need the internet. I just went through and answered all of it. So like I was still working and technically on the internet, but like I was like, I don't need to pay for that because I know I have something to do. But generally, Eddie, absolutely. I'm paying the 8, 10, whatever it is for internet.
It's so sad, but I don't even think twice about it.
Nah.
Well, it's like getting the upgraded Wi-Fi in your hotel room because you know you're going to send files back and forth.
Sure. And it still sucks.
Yeah, it does.
The hotel that I stayed in, Eddie, that I told you was just absolute garbage. Like I don't want to sit there and slam them on the air, but they didn't even have it available. You couldn't buy the upgraded internet. You just got the bullshit bad internet. It was
somehow that makes sense.
Yeah, that experience will not be repeated.
All right, so Thunder, looking forward to it. You guys are in Oklahoma City. It sounds like it's just nuts everywhere.
It's
right
awesome.
now.
I heard a great stat this morning. The Thunder are 12-4 in the playoffs, and of the 16 teams, they have the 13th lowest. They're ranked 13th in three-point shooting.
Yeah,
that's how good they've been.
They don't have to rely on three-point shooting.
It's incredible. It's scary for the rest of the league. I don't want to say the D word, but it could be here.
And it's anyway, I don't want to get into hardcore nuts and bolts NBA talk. So
Lou Dort's going to lock Tyrese Halliburton up.
Yeah, I hate all this. I talked about this morning. I hate it.
Well,
all these national media,
Tyrese Halliburton
all these national media
isn't going to average 50 because I'm saying
shit on the Thunder all year and said they were young and they weren't ready yet and they couldn't compete with with Golden States and the LeBrons and all that stuff and they weren't ready. Now that they've started watching them in the playoffs, it's like there's no way that Indiana can compete with this team. And so all you're doing is giving Indiana motivation and giving Tyrese Halliburton motivation to go out there and score 40 on Lou Dort in Game 1. I don't like it.
Well, good luck to him. I don't think that's going to happen. The Thunder are minus 750 for the series for a reason.
This is the most confident Eddie's been all playoffs.
We're going to kill him.
I don't like that.
I think this is their best matchup. Like
Well, the Grizzlies. Grizzlies were a totally outmatched.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they had Edwards could do things that other players can't do. Like I don't
think
think
Minnesota. I'm talking about Memphis.
He said
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
But no, I agree with you, Josh. I think the Nuggets and the Wolves are probably better teams than the Pacers.
The Zach Lowe podcast did not help calm my high expectations. Basically, statistically,
all
analytically,
possessions against Dort and how bad it was.
Yeah, like the Thunder, and I don't think they're going to sweep either, but I do think the Thunder are going to win in 5, maybe 6.
I think they'll be one of those
Dort's
games.
Even the best matchup.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You throw Case and Wallace,
Halliburton?
you throw Alex Caruso.
On Halliburton, I'd rather have Case and Wallace. I think Case and Wallace would give him fits.
Well, I think.
Tyrese Halliburton's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I think if there was a guy I'd want, it's
war.
It's Kaysen.
They only played twice this year. That's the other thing. It's like, yeah, you can talk about all these stats and this and that. They played twice this year, so it's not like there were 4 games to go on.
But all the transition points that they got against the Knicks, They're just not going to get that against the Thunder. The Thunder don't allow. They want you to do that. They want you to run.
The other thing too is and this maybe simplifies it, but let's say Dort or Kaysen or whoever just slows down Tyrese Halliburton. The argument could be made that the Thunder will have the 2 best players in the series in Shea and J-Dub if J-Dub continues to play the way he is.
Sure. They got to, they got to play well.
Siakam's going to have
you don't
some
get
nights.
to where they are without playing extremely, extremely well. But they also played against teams that gave it away in the fourth quarter, which the Thunder have done. Hand up.
There's a chance after 3 games, Siakam was the best player on the floor in one of those games.
In this series?
Yeah.
I mean, he could be.
I could buy that.
But is he going to do, that'd be saying that he's going to do it on the road? I don't know.
No, I'm saying he's good enough to where he can dominate a game, but he won't do it the entire series.
You wouldn't expect him to. Yeah. And I think these are going to be close games. I don't think they're going to be the Thunder, doing the thing where they suffocate you in the first half or the third quarter, and all of a sudden it's a 25-point game. It could happen. It's what's happened the majority of the year.
It could also happen where the Thunder come out and win the first 2 and then just get blown out in the third.
I would love that
in Indiana.
I would love that.
I could see that.
But
completely.
That would be fine with me.
I think it'll be a lot like the Celtics and Pacers in the Eastern Conference last year, where it's a bunch of really good games. They play really tight, but the Celtics just kind of kept edging out. They just kept winning out. And I think, if I remember right, they swept. I don't think Oklahoma City is going to sweep. I think there'll be some, shooting variance game where, Indiana just lights them up from the corner or something. But there's so little margin for Indiana for me. Like, they've got to play so perfectly just to win a game, much less multiple games.
Our Dallas listeners hate this.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hey, I was pulling for Dirk in 2013 to get that done, or 2014, whatever year it was. They've had their moment. Yeah. Rangers are in 4th in the AL West. They're doing great.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
I will say this: if J-Dub and Chet play well, they could sweep.
That'd be awesome.
Well, yeah.
But we've seen a growth from J-Dub, on the road, playing well. I don't know if that'll continue in this series.
Chet. Think about how much better Chet has gotten.
Chet broke his hip 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's been a great year. It's been a great ride. It's been very, very enjoyable.
Finish it.
Have to.
All right.
Because then the flip side of it is losing as a minus 750 favorite. It'd be one of the greater upsets in NBA history, and that would put me down for a couple months. I might not be okay until football season, unless the Cubs win the World Series, which might happen
you
too.
You also got a quote tweet from Jim Nagy.
Yeah, did he put me in a locker? Kind of felt like he put me in a locker a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
But I think it was all in good fun.
Yeah, it was in good fun, but he was definitely pointing out that he's working harder than you until August.
Well, he should be. The program he's helping went 6 and 7 last year, so I didn't go 6 and 7. I won a Western Conference Finals.
But it is all football all the time moving forward now that softball and baseball are over. Josh, you're coming back to town. We're going to do this pod. You're going to get on a plane tonight, come back for Thursday's camp. You were already down here for Monday's camp. We had the recruiting report yesterday highlighting your trips across the state. Also, I don't know that we've ever talked about, we have a new intern. We've always talked about getting interns. But Andrew West is out there, going wherever we tell him to get good footage for us. So give him some credit. He's a big part of our YouTube channel now and helping you guys get more looks at some of the prospects that are out there. And he certainly did that in the last recruiting report. But Josh, what are we in for tomorrow? As we will be out there, Jim Nagy, working hard just like you.
Yeah, tomorrow, guys. I mean, after last week, kind of a lackluster day. I think tomorrow will be better. Walking in yesterday, last week, I think I had 10, 12 guys confirmed. None of them holding offers. I don't have anybody with an offer that I'm expecting to be at camp tomorrow, but there's a whole bunch of young offensive linemen that I'm really interested in. It kind of feels like last year where we saw guys like Noah Best, Toa Katoa. We saw, the Poulet Primus kid from Midland come in, where I think Oklahoma ended up making like 8, 9 offensive line offers at camp last year just because they kept rolling in bodies. Tomorrow we'll see a guy like Hudson White Knight that recently picked up, I believe, a Texas offer, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going a little bit off memory there. But a guy from Dripping Springs in Texas, big offensive tackle. I had a chance to see him at the Under Armour camp in Houston. Actually, it's a Nebraska offer. I said Texas. I was mistaken. And then you get into some guys. We've talked about Rocky Bright. We talked about him yesterday on the recruiting report. Rocky Bright III, the son of the former Oklahoma defensive end. He'll be there tomorrow. The guy I'm probably most excited about is the Camion Compton Nero kid. I know I've mentioned him a lot. I see a lot of potential there. And of the guys I have confirmed, he's the one that I would say, okay, like an offer could happen here. Like I absolutely see that as a very real possibility for him.
Josh, where do we expect Compton Nero to work out at on Thursday?
Well, so I would expect corner, but I will say, Eddie, the thing I came away with when I saw him, it wouldn't shock me if he did some quarterback stuff. Like if there was some element of that in there, I kind of hope not, because I really don't think that's where his future is. But I get it. He's going into his sophomore year. He's a better quarterback than I expect him to be. Rejoice Christian won state last year. Very good program. They lost a lot, couple of all-state players. I struggle to think their offense was as dynamic as it will probably be with him under center, just because of I don't know what you do with a guy like that at the A level. Like it reminds me of like when we used to watch Ronell Lewis at Dewar, and you're just like, there's no A kid trying to tackle that monster. It's the same thing with Compton Nero. Like, you going to blitz him? Okay, he's going to run right by anybody you bring. He's a better athlete than anybody you've got on your team. And then if you don't, he's a capable passer. Like, he can absolutely light you up that way. And they've got a P4 prospect at receiver for him to throw the ball to. So they're going to be a problem that people are going to have a real problem solving next year.
Class A, right?
Yes. With 2 legitimate P4 players.
I mean,
it's
Josh,
crazy.
could you make like per classification? I don't know how to ask this. Like with him in A, and then the folks down at Washington in 2A, there might be more talent in 2A and A than there's like recruitable Power 4 level talent in there than maybe it's ever been in the state's history. Is that crazy to say?
I don't think that's crazy at all, because again, like, then you forget about Millwood. You forget about like all these other schools that have guys. And so between those 2 schools, you're talking about 5 Division I players. I mean, and I'm not talking like Ball State. I'm talking guys that are probably going to play P4 football. And that's crazy at that level. So yeah, you get Washington into the mix. Like I said, you bring Millwood. Class A, there's always a couple of guys that emerge kind of as the year goes on, and they end up at Kansas or K-State or somewhere like that, guys that are just kind of late risers. So, again, like I think when you look around the state more than ever, and I was thinking about this the other day while I was at Jenks and Union, and I don't mean this as a slight to those 2 programs, talent feels more spread out than I've ever seen it. Like, there is... I mean, Eddie, the best prospect in the state's at Fort Gibson.
Yeah.
Like, the best prospect last year was at Chakotah.
Sure.
Like, I mean, you just, like, I mean, it's crazy when you start thinking about where we're finding talent. Now, Eddie, we haven't had to go to Lawton in multiple years, and that used to be like every year.
Staple.
Stop.
It was a staple of the spring tour.
Mm-hmm. Josh, let me ask you, was of all the guys you saw on your tour, was Graves maybe the biggest, not surprise, but guy that really made an impression on you? Just his jump that he's made?
I think that's pretty fair, Kerry. Like, he was, because I think you said it really well. I went in knowing he was a good player, but seeing how much his body had changed, how much bigger he'd gotten, how strong he is, like, because again, like I go watch some guys, and you're like, well, there's nobody here to challenge them. Like there's nobody. It's freaking Booker T. They've got some bodies. Like they've got guys who can play some ball. Now, are they at his level? No, not most of them. But there are good athletes there, and he was just bullying people, running through double teams, doing all kinds of stuff, and it just. I was just super impressed by not only the strength and the size, but like the motor. Like I wondered, like how much will he go? He was in on every rep he could be on. He went through that, the shot that people can go watch when they watch the recruiting report. And Eddie and George and I talking about this yesterday. You go watch the one where I'm shooting from the end zone, kind of where he's coming at me, and he's either taking on singles or double teams. He did that probably more than any other guy on his team, like probably double than any other guy. He went through it 4 or 5 times. And the guys that are, younger and not as well known and that kind of stuff, they might have done it once or twice. Like he was trying, I don't know if he's like that all the time, but, if it was for me, then he definitely accomplished what he was trying to and made a strong impression.
I love a guy that just turns it on when the cameras are there. That's the best.
You got to go watch the recruiting report just to see the drills that they put in there. Oh, you're bigger and you're stronger than everybody? Here's 3 guys. Just go keep knocking them down as many times as you can.
They have they've got a new head man up there at Booker T, and like every Booker T hire, a Booker T guy. This is a guy that graduated, actually played back in like the Robert Meacham era, so that he goes way back, and you could tell like he just wasn't happy with the energy of practice, and so he just like, all right, this is what we're doing. And the first rep was Joseph Graves trying to run through 3 guys to go get his hands on a coach, and if he gets there, the other 3 guys have to run a lap around the field. Like that was kind of the deal. So it definitely picked up the temperature really fast. And you don't get to see that stuff very often in practice, but I was absolutely loving it. Just being the, football big man, just physical violence that I like watching in football.
All right, so outside of that, you and I were out there to see Cooper Hackett together, and I mean, he couldn't have been, in the situation. There's not much more impression he could have made. I mean, he looked great. I mean, like you said, I think we all dream of a day when we could see him. I don't know, is he planning to work out when he comes to camp, or is he just coming up and hanging out?
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
It is my understanding he's going to work out. He went to Tech last week and worked out at their camp and bullied a couple of pretty good defensive ends. The kid from San Antonio that I think's got like a dozen offers or more, and Cooper sent me some clips of it wasn't much of a competition, I guess.
Well, and that'll be next week's session, right? Not the one coming up tomorrow.
He'll be there, I believe, for the final session on the 13th is what he's told me. So that obviously is a big one. Guys, I just noticed it. I'm just looking at it. There's a chance he and Zane Rowe are there on the same day.
Ooh.
So that would be a fun one to watch. Those two go to work a little bit. Because you're going to have, like, Cooper's never seen something like Zane Rowe, like something that big and strong at edge and as long as he is. Like, at the same time, I mean, the only guy I can think of that has the length like Cooper does and can move his feet like that Zane has seen is probably Felix Ojo. Like, that's the comp I could come up with where you're like, okay, that's fairly workable and comparing one guy to the next. So, again, and that's the stuff you hope for. Like last week at camp, as bad as we acknowledge it was, I think Oklahoma made 5 new offers. It wasn't like it was nothing. But there were, and one of the things they made an offer at Bishop Gorman, guys. Like that used to be a summer camp tradition. Like Ryan, I can remember Ryan Reynolds coming to camp and being offered, and I remember DeMarco Murray working out at camp because he had the orange helmet and the blue shoes back before OU made you wear all their stuff.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, when you talk about the 5 offers that are going out, it is interesting when you go to camp now because they have the front office. I know you wrote a little bit about this, and I think Eddie's probably talked about it a little bit on some of the YouTube shows. But the entire, they haven't announced it officially. I know that George has said that they want to do that soon, but there are 4 guys out there: Taylor Redd, Jim Nagy. Who are the other 2 guys?
Charlie Parkinson.
Or full 5, really, because of high school director.
Charlie Parkinson, Stacy Ford, and Cale Pearson.
And so they're out there just huddling all the time, like looking at, and like Jim Nagy is like standing there with Brent Venables, and they're comparing rosters and notes, and just talking the entire time about what they're seeing of these guys on the field. And then they had them run laser time 40s. They had them do standing broad jump. They had them do some shuttle drills. So they're turning it into a little bit of a combine, but I'm not saying, they're making it all analytical and, scientific and all that stuff. But, they really are trying to find out not just how a kid looks in drills, but what he runs, how he moves, when you put that down on paper, how does that compare? What's his, I would imagine there was support. I don't know, when you got there early, I imagine they probably do hand size and width and all that. What do you call it? Reach or
wingspan?
Wingspan. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they probably get some of those measurements as well because we all know NFL circles, that stuff's important to those guys. But it's just interesting to see how this is changing a little bit with Jim Nagy and his personnel department involved.
Well, because you guys remember, like when Brent arrived, I remember us talking about that was one of the things they said, like about their camps. Like, we're not going to do testing. We just want to watch you play football. Like, that was kind of something they put forward. And, Kerry, I can't remember, because there was a time, and I wrote about it in the story, that these were, this was something Bob's staff did. Like, they tested, they did all that stuff. Now, it wasn't lasers, and it wasn't nearly as scientific as it was when we were there on
go back to Teddy Lehman.
Sunday.
I mean, Teddy Lehman went in there, and they were hand timing 40s back then because he ran the sub 4.4, and it made its way all across the country, within hours.
Oh, and that's guys. I mean, Eddie or Kerry, you saw the kid that we were like. I saw him run. I saw him look fast. Andrew and I were like, "Damn, that looked good." And you were like, "Oh, it's that little kid." Well, it's little kid. I make it sound bad. It was Gage Gibbons from Deer Creek. They made him run twice because he was so fast. Yeah, and he was, guys, this is the guy that finished first in the state in the 100 meters, ran like a 10.6 in the 100. So no doubt he knows what he's doing. And I asked him, I said, they just didn't believe my time on the first one, so they made me run another one.
Can we drop the veil as well? You're telling me that a white kid won the 100 in the state of Oklahoma?
Again, do you feel like that's becoming less of an anomaly? I feel like that used to be like Tim Dwight. Tim Dwight was this wild outlier of a white guy that could really go. And now, I feel like they're all over the place. And they're always these little kind of slot receiver type guys, but they can. The Dallas Dickerson kid that OU's recruiting from Georgia, he won state in Georgia.
It's crazy.
But let's
everybody's
go over.
Just backing away from the fast white guy thing. Okay.
No, I'm
I'm
trying to think.
They and them that got me.
Andy.
I'm one of they and them. I can say it. It's okay.
Andy Bass was a really fast white kid from Heritage Hall.
And guys, we should say he looked good, out there at camp. Looked like he was, good stage. I don't know what you'd say, but he seemed to be feeling okay.
He tweeted a couple days ago that everything is kind of on schedule with the knee having to go through the ACL stuff again after getting hurt in the bowl practices for Navy running scout team quarterback. But yeah.
So let's talk about just the 5 offers that we didn't mention, Josh. That came out of day one.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier. The guy from Bishop Gorman, that's Terrence Grant. And he's a guy that we noticed early because of he's just a big old dude. You're looking at some of these running backs, where there was We talked about Josiah Dickerson. We talked about Michael Martin, guys that had camped before. Our first look at Terrence Grant, and you're like, oh, okay, that guy's different. He's probably 6'1", 200 pounds, really powerful, but showed good feet. He moved around well, did some stuff in the passing game that you felt comfortable with. And then I would say you move to the offensive line, where they offered Kane Dial, a guy that we talked about, right off the bat there, is a kid that we thought was impressive. And I thought more than anything watching him, it was the stuff he did in drills that impressed me more than like one-on-ones. You're like, okay, he can move his feet, he can bend. Like, there was some stuff there. On the flip side was Jackson Roper, who's like 6'3", 285, 290, really solidly built interior guy. But it was once you got into one-on-ones, you're like, okay, that dude's got some nasty on him. He'll mix it up. I really liked him. And then the last two were Trey Britton, who, full disclosure, just didn't get to watch enough of him. That's just one of those guys. Every once in a while, there's a guy that I just kind of miss. He was one of them. And then Trace Rudd, the kicker, that really, guys, you talk about a guy that has worked hard to get an offer. He's been down to OU multiple times, really worked with Doug Deacon to make sure it was clear that, OU and their staff knew this is an offer I really want. This is a place I really would like to be. And now he got offered during the camp, and he'll be back for the Champ U barbecue for his official visit.
Okay, so coming up tomorrow, you'll be out there. You'll be back here. We'll all be out there a little bit here and there. You said your expectation is it's a little bit better of a camp. Do you have any names at this point, like guys that you're really looking forward to just putting your eyes on?
Well, we talked about him a little bit earlier with like the Compton Nero kid. I would also say a guy that I have mentioned as a guy that I really wanted to get a look at is the Ryder Waddell kid from Poto. Big linebacker. I want to see what his movement skills look like. It's going to be, my guess is it's not going to be the perfect, like, he's not a camp linebacker. He's not a guy that's going to go and look natural in coverage and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I say that, there was a clip a couple weeks ago of him making a couple interceptions in a 7-on-7 league. So, like, I don't think it's that foreign to him. But, like, you get him out in space against an elite running back, I don't know how that's going to look for him. Well, it'll be interesting to see. But if he can do that, guys, he's supposed to be like 6'4", 210. So if he's that big and can move around, he's another guy in that 2028 class Oklahoma where you might say, okay, something could happen here, because that's going to be a rare kind of skill. At quarterback, I would say the guy I really want to see is the Jackson Fields kid from Louisiana. He is a guy that's kind of picked up a lot of social media notoriety a few weeks ago, made a few throws in his spring game that everybody were just kind of like, holy cow, this guy is, worth a longer look. And he doesn't have, at the time, didn't have any major offers, wasn't really being recruited. I know he almost immediately was invited to OU's camp, LSU's camp. So I don't know if everybody's planning for the alternative to Bowe Bentley if they have to find one, but he is supposed to be there. And again, another group of offensive linemen that I think are absolutely guys who could pick up offers.
And probably won't recognize Bill Bedenbaugh when they get here.
Again, if you guys haven't seen that, if people listen haven't seen that video, go watch that.
The first day of camp recruiting.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing what Bill has done.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, congrats.
It's incredible.
You mentioned LSU, Bowe Bentley. I know while I was walking around at camp the other day, had people hit me up like, have you heard anything from LSU? What's going on? And I just have to think, like, everything's uncertain. Nobody knows what's going on. They didn't know if LSU might come up with some huge dollar offer for him to commit on the spot. I mean, nothing surprises anybody now. So these coaches kind of have to exhale knowing that Bowe Bentley's going to be on campus this weekend now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was, and it's funny because when you talk to people around recruiting, it's a lot of LSU. There's a lot of LSU buzz. There just is. At the same time, Oklahoma has almost this uncanny confidence, like just kind of like if he'll just get out of Baton Rouge, we feel pretty good about it. And you're like, okay, like maybe everybody's just reading this wrong. And the thing is, it's hard to know. Because through the years, I think there have been times when Oklahoma hasn't been very good at this. And like reading, like almost like they don't want to believe the possibility of bad news. And then at the same time, we have no track record with Ben Arbuckle. We don't know. Is he good at this? Is this something where he can see it and really perceive, okay, yeah, I've got reason to feel good about where I'm at? I've always felt like he was going to end up at Oklahoma. Now, I trust some of the people that are hearing LSU. So, like, it's kind of a tricky situation because you just don't know exactly who to believe here. But what I can say is anybody that's like, oh, it's LSU, Oklahoma does not feel that way. Like, they think they are very much in this and very much can win his recruitment this weekend.
How quickly do you think things come together post-weekend? Like, if you can project it a week, 2 weeks, maybe things go well, he commits while on campus. I mean, that's the best situation, right? Like, that would be the picture-perfect scenario for him to commit on campus this weekend. I don't think he's going to do that.
That's what you're dreaming of.
Sure.
Then, he immediately turns around and becomes a weapon to recruit Tyler Ruxer and Noah Best and Dallas Dickerson, all these offensive players to come play with him, to forget, the defensive guys, Brian. And, the nice thing for OU is they do have a couple of defensive commitments that are going to be there, and Ja'Cory Smith and Brian Harris will both be on campus this weekend. So I think that helps a lot in just – like if you could just get that one guy. We've seen this, guys, for years. If one guy pulls the trigger, it seems like there's always 2 or 3 that follow. Like it just kind of seems to build momentum, and there's an excitement that comes around that stuff. And then if nobody, like if you don't get one, then it just kind of lingers. Like it's not like, oh, a couple guys committed, a couple days later or 48 hours later or whatever. It doesn't really work like that, or doesn't seem to anyway. But yeah, Eddie, I would think as a timeline, I would be surprised if by that following weekend we didn't pretty much know what Bowe Bentley's doing. Because I think the whole plan is for and again, the whole reason he moved this up is because he wants to get this done. He wants to move forward with it, go to whatever school he's talking about. Because when he was going to do, LSU this upcoming weekend, OU the 13th and then LSU the 20th, he wasn't going to have any chance to recruit any of his teammates if he really was just going to go take trips and, make his decision and then be over with it. That's not usually how quarterbacks work. They want to be involved. They want to try to help. They want to build relationships. And I took it as a very clear sign of like, okay, he has some idea of what he wants to do. He wants to get through these visits. I think it's great news for Oklahoma that they get the last shot. And they're going to hope he pulls the trigger quickly, and then it's back up on campus for the June 20th weekend that is obviously just another massive collection of talent.
There's so many ways that this could go in terms of, before he announces, like, I'm just thinking in my head, like, oh, my God, what if, like, Jaden O'Neal comes out and reaffirms his commitment to Oklahoma? Like, then you probably know, like, oh, he went to LSU. And, we went up to Salina and talked to him, and I kind of, it's a very small sample size, but the read I got on him, Josh, was just that I don't feel like he had a decision made at that point in time when we talked to him. And I could also see him, just his personality and how he's taken this all in. Like, you're right. You can tell he wants to get this over with, but I could also kind of see him getting stuck in what he wanted to do in his own mind.
Yeah, agreed. Because, Kerry, talking to him in person, I was like, oh, he really is open. That was the first time that I was kind of like, oh, this is everything I've known, I like where Oklahoma is and kind of what they've been able to cultivate with him. But this isn't oh yeah, I'm really looking at everything. And then you talk to him and you're like, that kid's going to, he already knows where he's going.
Yeah.
I've done a million of those interviews, and that's not what that was. And so it was the first time I was like, oh, okay, this is really up in the air here. So I think that makes it more interesting. Now, not that we needed Oklahoma's, like you said, Oklahoma's quarterback recruiting situation was already plenty interesting with a lot of variables in it. But the thought that now Bowe Bentley is, okay, that's not as certain as maybe it seemed at one time. What does that mean? So, there's just a lot in play here. Obviously, you mentioned Jaden O'Neal. He visited Arizona last weekend. That seems like, from everything I heard, that went well. For people at home that maybe don't understand the significance, his trainer is former Arizona great Ortez Jenkins that was just an unbelievable player for them, and like back in the Dick Tomey era. So there's some different stuff to kind of look at there. He's got some more visits coming. He's supposed to go to Florida State in like about 10 days. So that's still in play. I know Auburn, like I've heard some talk of them setting up a visit. I know he's already been down there once before. So there's several schools that we're going to have to watch here a little bit and kind of see what plays out. But it does look like Jaden O'Neal is working on alternative plans if he needs one.
What would be even more ballers if Jaden O'Neal comes out tomorrow and is like, I'm sticking with Oklahoma before Bentley could even get on campus.
Just the ultimate
alpha. Just try and sabotage the whole thing.
I would love to know what the fan reaction would look like to that. Like, because it would be such a torn, like, we love that you're solid, but bro, like, did you have to, like, we take 2, we'll be happy with 2.
You get
that
plenty
kind
of this guy's been a Sooner, he's always been a Sooner. He's my quarterback.
Yep. And I mean, I couldn't blame anybody because we've talked about that the whole time. Like, you can't fault Jaden O'Neal. He has done everything OU could ask of him, and probably more. And still, I think I just don't see it ending up working out.
Yeah, I don't even want to go where my mind is taking me, which is talking about them ending up with nothing in the end. Anyway, so outside of that, I mean, just this camp season in general, is there, I mean, we talked about Cooper Hackett, but are there other big names that, you're expecting to be in here over the next 2 weeks?
There will be, but there's not a lot of names where you're like, okay, yeah, that guy is, tons of offers. I mentioned Zane Rowe. He's a really interesting one. Yeah. The other guy, and just talking about, you mentioned Cooper Hackett, like big bodies from the state of Oklahoma, the Udafe Aruru kid from Jinx that is just a mountain of a human being. He is supposed to be there, and I keep trying to remember what he told me, the 12th or the 13th. And so those look like that weekend, that next, I guess, depending on when you're listening to this, a little over a week from now, those 2 back-to-back days on Thursday and Friday, I would guess those are going to be the best 2 days of camp. Largely, I think, because Oklahoma, will be building into their recruiting weekend, they don't have to build into a recruiting weekend, I'm sorry. And there's a little more opportunity to kind of have everybody, all hands on deck for a lot of tours and hosting guys and making sure Brent gets a lot of FaceTime with some of these guys, like Cooper Hackett, right at the top of the list with any of them.
All right. George, what are you doing? You got anything?
No, I love the recruiting portion because it's just I can sit back and listen to Josh. So I have very little to add.
But there's no I really want to talk about this when he shuts up.
Not real. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, with baseball and softball being done, and I mean, it's a big recruiting month, and how
about Jitty Baranchek continuing?
She got another commitment.
That's crazy.
5-star Finley Chastain. In the I don't believe on
legitimately a school that I've never heard of.
Yeah, Family Faith Academy.
Faith Family Academy in Dallas.
In Oak
never
Cliff
heard of it.
Yeah. They don't have rankings yet for the 2027 class. At least On3 doesn't. I know several other sites have her as like the number 2 or the top 5 player or something in that class. So yeah, I mean, just
it's crazy. Unbelievable. That she could have a backcourt, and I guess it'd be towards the end of Aaliyah's career, right? Because she's 2027, 2025. Like, they could be in the same backcourt together, though.
Yeah, they could.
2 5-star guards for the OU women's basketball program.
I saw some of this girl's highlight tape, too, and she can play.
Really?
Yeah, she can hoop. So, yeah, she's killing. I know there's a lot of people out there wondering about why they haven't added anybody in the portal. I think what Jenny told me, and I'm going to write about it because I still have it from down in Destin, is they like the freshman class they brought in. They brought in 3 girls, not just Chavez, but 2 others that they feel like can play for them next year. And they do want to add maybe 1 or 2 players, but it's hard because recruiting girls to a team that already have, 6, 7, 8 girls deep. Like it's, not easy to get, some of the best players in the portal. And I also don't think that they think that there's been a ton of players in the portal that are worth taking. So, I think they'll try to add at least one in the portal, and there's still a few girls out there, but I don't think it's something that they felt like they needed to go out and get a bunch of players. They've done a really good job retaining their best players.
Well, and then yesterday, Bob breaking a story, Rashard Odoms returning as a grad assistant for Porter Moser. A lot of people familiar with him if you've been following OU basketball in recent history. But, he was a member of the 2016 Final Four team when he was a freshman. So he played a little bit with Buddy Hield. I remember thinking he was going to be so good.
And he ended up being an all right player, but I thought he was going to be like a star.
Actually, some pretty cool backstory on that, too. Supposedly, he reached out to Lon Kruger, his former head coach at OU, and Lon reached out to Porter, who was like, yeah, we got a spot open. We could always take somebody like that from a mentality standpoint. And now he's the GA. Kind of cool.
That's great. Where's Rashard originally from?
Where, like high school-wise?
Yeah.
I want to say he was from Texas, but I
sounds
kind of feel
right.
like that's wrong.
I was thinking it was Florida, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember where Rashard was from. Copers Cove, Texas. Copers Cove.
Yeah.
Well, that was his birthplace.
Alaska.
It looks like he played at Copperas Cove.
Okay.
Yeah, he played at Copperas Cove, but he's born in Anchorage, Alaska.
Had no idea.
That's wild.
And he's been overseas playing.
And Christian James, he's from Houston originally.
Yeah.
Copers Cove has a pretty good football program, don't they, Josh?
Oh, yeah.
They played like a state championship,
that's where Robert
haven't
Griffin's
they?
from.
Oh, okay.
How about this?
Yeah.
Christian James still playing basketball.
Where at?
He's in the Venezuelan Superliga.
Oh, I bet that's interesting. Aren't they in a civil war right now? Venezuela?
Probably over this basketball team.
Well, I think it's because they're run by a dictator, but...
He plays for the Fortitudo Argentino.
I love him. That's my favorite
Argentina.
Venezuelan basketball team.
No. He plays now for the Trotamundos.
Oh, no, that's my favorite team. I forgot.
Trotamundos.
Well, God bless them.
All right. Unless anybody else has anything, I think we're wrapped for the day. Lots of stuff coming. Thunder up. But lots of stuff coming from the camp circuit. Josh has got to get on a plane, be back in town. Then he'll leave, and then he'll come back again for next week's camp. So a lot of Josh around.
Josh, why don't you just
Edmonton
move here?
in 7? Is that where everybody's at on the Stanley Cup Finals?
That starts tonight, doesn't it?
Yep. In Edmonton.
Guys, a rare moment I'm rooting against America. Go Oilers. Like I'm all in with the Oilers on this one.
They have a great fan base.
I cheer for 7 games. I don't really have a rooting interest in the Cup Finals as much as I do in just getting to a Game 7. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that are cheering for the NBA Finals to go to 7.
Game 7 in hockey is not bad.
Sick.
That's very true.
It'll be interesting to see what the ratings look like out of this matchup with.
Yeah,
I'm interested in the ratings. And
maybe looking at them, but outside of that, I don't care.
I'm more interested in the ratings and the attendance tonight at the Women's College World Series.
Yeah.
Oh, with that OU in it?
Yeah.
I bet it would be high because it's a
Oregon UCLA game was the highest rated.
I think the TV ratings will be good. I wonder what the attendance will be.
Yeah.
Because OU fans do pack that place.
I think you'll have a lot of Texas fans that are scrambling to get to Oklahoma City.
Maybe so.
Maybe they turned around after last night's tornadoes, but I don't know. No, I'm sure. I mean, I've said this before, guys. And look, softball's a different.
I'll probably tune in tonight.
You just look at the people in the crowd. It's very different than a football crowd. But Texas, as a sports, as an athletic department, as a sports program, like it's more on par with NFL fan bases than it is other college fan bases. And you could say the same about Ohio State. I mean, it's just these vast number of people that root for Texas. Like, it's hard to comprehend exactly how big that is if you've lived in Oklahoma your entire life. It's just, it's massive. So I think I would hope the stands would be pretty. And look, people in Lubbock getting a chance to see them win a national championship.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It'd be the first one in school history, right? Too. It'd be the first one,
like in any sport.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow! I didn't.
Aren't
know
they
that.
one of those schools
Is that like
that
Ole
has
Miss?
not won
when Ole Miss won the baseball?
Yeah, when Ole Miss won
so.
baseball, that was their first major sport.
I thought so. I could be completely wrong about that.
Well, I mean, Tech might have won something in like women's this or that.
I really don't know. I thought that they were one of the...
no. Did they win one with Cheryl Swoops? Like in women's basketball?
Did they really?
Like when, I think maybe... pulled it out 1993. That's a win for Josh.
All right, well, congratulations to Cheryl
That's the only one they have.
I don't count that, though, because of all the nasty things that she says about Caitlin Clark.
National championships overall.
What a sad athletic department.
Well, they're dominating now.
They are dominating.
They could have 5 after this.
They've won 4?
They might win the
total.
Big 12 in
It's
football.
crazy. What else did they win?
I'm looking. Got to go down to the notes.
It's going to be some bullshit sport.
Yeah, it can't be like cheer. No offense to the cheer people. No, actually, all offense to the cheer people.
Arkansas State, they've won bowling national championships.
Oh, those don't count. Maybe a national championship in track and field or something. I don't know. Nobody cares. We can end this.
Yeah, it's Wikipedia. I can't really follow.
I'm digging.
Why don't they ever just put a list? NCAA team championships. Indoor, they won the 2024 national championship in men's. Outdoor, they won the national championship
track and field.
In 2019 in track and field. And then the women's basketball championship in 1993. That's all I see. Oh, they have a Palm national championship this past year. Congratulations, ladies. And a dance team championship. Yeah, we support everybody. I want everybody to do their best, to be their best.
Final Four when Oberg was there in golf? Weren't they like Final Four match play?
I don't remember. Maybe. Possibly.
Let's not find out.
All right. That's going to do it. We got plenty of things to do. Josh got to get on a plane.
No, I don't think they did.
We've got to get some shows up and get ready for the camp tomorrow, which go check us out at Soonerscoop.com. Just $1 for you guys to sign up. And we'll have updates throughout the day on the message boards on the Crimson Corner. And then plenty of video. We'll have Andrew, our intern, out there shooting along with Eddie. I'll be taking some photos. So lots of great coverage to come. And this is really the best time of the year. I mean, Bowe Bentley getting ready to take his official visit. You'll have more of those to come. So lots of great stuff headed up. Big time list of visitors to come that Josh will keep you updated on as well on the Crimson Corner and the website. So thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com.